now for the national anthem.
Welcome back to the broadcast here for the 2025 Outrigger Challenge Cup from historic Jarrell Williams Bulldog Stadium in Springdale, Arkansas. A little handful of Ozark United supporters supporting their U19 side as they take on Turks and Caicos here in Springdale, Arkansas, in what could be a very exciting night both for the soccer world at large and here in Northwest Arkansas, Ben.
It is certainly a kind of high noon in terms of this project of the Outrigger Challenge Cup, and just making sure that two teams get to play their first matches in Ozark United and Marshall Islands national team in a great atmosphere with everything going according to plan off the field, and now an opportunity for Ozark United U19s to be able to decide things on the field. They'll be the ones wearing black and moving from left to right. Turks and Caicos, who we saw in those beautiful yellow kits, will be moving from right to left.
And we do have to mention, kind of happened last night, due to a little bit of a malfunction with an airline, the Turks and Caicos kits with their numbers did not arrive, and it's a really unlucky thing for the Turks and Caicos national team. So,
well, who among us hasn't had an airline lose our baggage? And we do want to mention, we mentioned it briefly on the broadcast yesterday, this was in no way a failing of the Turks and Caicos Federation logistical staff. They did absolutely everything that they could, and they've done a tremendous job organizing their side of things here in the Outrigger Challenge Cup. It was, we were not going to shout out the airline individually. That's not fair to them, but it was an issue on that end of things. Turks and Caicos have done absolutely everything that they can to make sure that they are as well represented, and they represented themselves very well yesterday in what was just a thrilling match. But we do want to make sure that we give that note and make sure that everyone understands that this is in no way a failing of the Turks and Caicos Federation on the logistical side of things at all.
So just a little unfortunate thing. So we will do our best to call out the Turks and Caicos players here this evening. We do believe it's Samuel Harvey in net for the Turks and Caicos Islands. The other keeper that they brought with them here. Last night it was Sebastian Turbyfield, who was the man of the match.
He
had
was
two
incredible.
otherworldly saves that he was able to keep it level at 1-1. There were multiple opportunities for the Virgin Islands to score, and they just were not able to, due to Turbyfield's excellent job. We are underway here in Springdale, Arkansas. Ozark United, they kick off first, as mentioned, moving from left to right in those black kits. And it's a warm one here in Springdale. I assume those black kits will be a little bit toasty here. There's Brandon Lawson on the right wing. He looks to the midfield, but that pass finds nobody. And back it goes to Turks and Caicos. Now, Ozark United, playing their first match of the Outrigger Challenge Cup here. They are going to pressure the backs, and that will go out for an early set piece for Ozark United.
We talked about how Turks and Caicos will set up on these set pieces. It will be interesting to see how Ozark United does on the other side. Wouldn't be surprised if we see some short corners, some creativity from this U19 team that hasn't had the opportunity to run any set piece opportunities from the training ground against an actual opposition.
It's number 7, CJ Salinas, over this corner kick. And swinging ball finds nobody. Was looking towards the back post, but no Ozark United players in the vicinity.
And just from the shape of this Ozark United U19 bunch, it looks like Wyatt Marksberry and Salinas are going to be the two in the center of the park, kind of riding that number 10 role between the two of them to pull the strings on the offensive side of things.
That's Turks and Caicos. It's like to be a pretty high pressing line here for Ozark United. They are coached by Dean Johnson, who is an assistant on the Marshall Islands staff. So Dean getting 2 matches in.
Busy day for him
this evening. Yeah. He has 3 coaching gigs, fun fact. He's also the head coach of the brand new Northwest Arkansas Community College, junior college soccer program. They're starting that up soon. He is the inaugural coach of that.
And what an interesting opportunity for him to build up not 1 but 2 programs from scratch. 3, as a matter of fact, if you include his assistant staff work on the Marshall Islands national team. That's got to be so rewarding for him to be able to set the foundation.
Ball in the middle here. It's Mateo Gomez-Soto controlling. Out to the outside, Isaiah Fonseca.
And already you can see how much to the perimeter Ozark United is going to try to play everything. They want to spread this Turks and Caicos defense out.
Brandon Lawson, a little bit of space. They tried to lay it off in front of the area. And we mentioned this last night. Players have been slipping and falling a little bit on this synthetic turf. It's definitely an American football field and not quite a soccer pitch. So both narrow and just a little bit slippery. It just takes some time.
Springdale High School crew has just been tremendous in terms of organizing this event, but it is unusual dimensions of the field, just a little bit, still very much within the parameters of a normal soccer field, but it is on the narrow side of the perimeters that you can have. And as you mentioned, the artificial turf does make for a little bit more difficulty finding your footing, although the more that these players have played on it, the better it's been.
A rip with net from Wyatt Marksberry. His dad, one of the assistant coaches on this Ozark staff, he had a go from goal there, about 20 yards out.
Well, already you can see Marksberry looks to be kind of that prototypical coach's son prototype. He takes the space in front of him. He's able to be good with both of his feet. He looks to be a player in the early going.
Turks and Caicos looking to answer. At midfield, dispossessed.
Such an interesting dynamic with this U19 bunch for Ozark United that all played for the most part at local high schools. They were rivals for much of their time in high school, playing against each other, and perhaps some schools not necessarily liking each other, and now on the same team having to kind of put all of those differences aside to help build up this U19 program.
And a lot of different high schools represented. Turks and Caicos looking for a quick 1-2, unable to capitalize. And it is back with Giovanni Puga. Kind of already see how these two teams looking to play. Ozark United looking pretty possession-based, pretty heavy, and we saw last night Turks and Caicos very happy to sit back and absorb pressure.
But they could hit the U.S. Virgin Islands on breaks really quickly. With a lot of that success coming down that left channel. They haven't been able to do so yet so far. We're only about 5 minutes in.
They were looking for Malachi Cowan on that left or on that right wing, but unable to find him. Turks Caicos now. Ball up in the midfield. They have a winger running down the left side. There's a ball on the edge of the area. Working it. It almost slotted home just wide to the right of that far post, and that was an excellent opportunity for Turks and Caicos.
Well, it's such a creative run diagonally going from right to left that takes the first defender completely out of the play, and then you've got to step on the second. It's a lovely move to shirk the defender, and he had a tight angle against Wesle Gebhart, who's the Ozark United keeper. And Gebhart very happy to see that just go wide of his post. Best chance of the day, though.
Yeah, almost bent it in. Nice little dummy. It ends up to Wyatt Marksberry, but Marksberry's touch far too heavy, and it goes back quickly to Turks and Caicos, trying to thread a through ball between two defenders. And that will go out for a Turks and Caicos throw off of Brandon Lawson. Regardless of not having numbers, I do like these yellow training tops. They are gorgeous training tops that Turks and Caicos are rocking.
I'll say Ivan Contreras has had a couple of really important last-ditch touches for the Ozark United U19s. That'll be a free kick.
Alan Mendoza wins the foul there.
But when you're a young squad like this U19 team obviously is, when you can have a central defender who you can trust, if not to win the ball back, at least to get a touch that can disrupt things, is huge.
That was a beautiful touch there. And that will go out for another corner. Malachi Cowan. Excuse me, that is Isaiah Fonseca. Really soft touch to control that long ball. And it is another set piece here for CJ Salinas.
There's the technicality that we were talking about being really on display for Ozark United.
Fonseca again. Drives this corner low, and out it goes. And that soccer ball looked like it was headed for my vehicle out there. Quick inside. Oh, and it looked like Malachi Cowan was going to get on the end of that one, but unable to find it. But the early pressure, I feel like Ozark United probably pretty satisfied here in this 8th minute.
Cowan had a great opportunity there. He had plenty of space, perhaps more time than he thought he did as well. Probably could have taken a touch to settle it down.
Turks and Caicos, 2 runners on this left wing, an overlapping run, and they could not find him. But they will retain possession. Switch out wide to the right wing. Have not seen Turks and Caicos really hold possession much in last night or the start of this one.
It has been Ozark United who has been on the front foot in terms of the possession, but Turks and Caicos looks very organized in terms of their defensive shape.
Pass up ahead. And Aukelele is unable to hold on to it. It will go out for an Ozark throw. They look to take it quickly. Into the center to Wyatt Marksberry. Heavy touch, but Marksberry does retain possession. Marksberry, edge of the area, battling with the Turks and Caicos defender, looking to find a cross. He goes back to the top to Mateo Gomez-Soto, and it will carry him off a Turks and Caicos defender and to the keeper.
I think Gomez-Soto just lost his footing on that plant foot a little bit, so that's why he lost the power. I think Turks and Caicos' least favorite number has been 11 for the last 24 hours or so. After Joshua Ramos, who wore that number yesterday, looked really to be a player.
Unbelievable.
Wyatt Marksberry wearing that same number 11, causing some more troubles for the TNC defense.
Just something about the number 11 here. Ball up the right wing. Turks and Caicos will hold on to it.
That's good recovery defending from Giovanni Puga. He was beat along that left defensive side, but he was able to turn back the Turks and Caicos attacker and allow Ozark to get some numbers back.
Turks and Caicos trying to put this ball more central, but really good defending from Brandon Lawson.
Out of Bentonville High School, not terribly far away.
You know, a lot of these Ozark United players, they play against each other in have played against each other in high school. I'm sure they have played with and against each other in club growing up in Northwest Arkansas. Several big clubs, and I assume most of these players have played for one of them.
What an exciting time it is for soccer in Northwest Arkansas, though, with the creation of this USL club.
Really on the up and up, I would say. Ozark United pressing pretty high here. That's not a real strong clearance from the keeper there, but that pass a bit soft, and they are intercepted by Turks Caicos, who look to run quickly. That through ball just a bit too heavy, and it will be corralled by the keeper, Gebhart. Not quite the touch they were looking for on that pass.
But that is where Turks Caicos is going to try to go when they recover the ball in the midfield, right down Route 1, looking for those through balls in the center of the Ozark United defense.
Mendoza's pass intercepted by Turks Caicos. Looked to hold possession a little bit here.
And remember, in that game against the U.S. Virgin Islands yesterday, it was all USVI in the first 12 minutes or so, and then the Turks Caicos goal in the 15th minute completely changed things. Turks Caicos had a really nice spell to end the first half, so perhaps another instance in which Turks Caicos will just continue to grow into the game as it progresses.
We didn't see them play off the back too much last night. Looks like they are trying to do so, or they were trying to do so there. Possession back to Ozark United. Switch play to Brandon Lawson. Right back, who has been involved quite a bit so far.
And with this 4-3-3 that looks like Turks Caicos is setting up, if you can go to this perimeter, you'll have success. Here they are again on it.
Aukelele on the left wing. Crossed in, looking for Wyatt Marksberry. Marksberry couldn't get there. Lawson's going to press his way up. He'll just put his right foot through it, and that one sails way wide of the net. But you got to respect the right back for having to go at goal there.
You could see that coming a mile away with Lawson trying to time that up. It's difficult with the ball bouncing as much as it is on a turf like this. He didn't quite get his body over the top of it. But as a right back, when you have those kind of opportunities with that much space in front of you, don't really have to be invited twice to take that shot.
Here in the 13th minute, and Lawson goes at goal.
I'm going to be fascinated to see how USVI and Ozark United match up on Saturday, because they look to have very similar style.
Yeah, very possession heavy. Oh, this is a great ball up ahead, but the keeper Gebhart comes off of his line and take a little bit of a shoulder check from the attacking Turks Caicos player, and
welcome to international soccer,
That was
Wesley.
very CONCACAF-y, I must say.
Welcome to international soccer, Wesley, making sure that that the attacker knows that he's going to be there throughout the night.
And the attacker did avoid a card there, pleading his case with the head official.
Yeah, I don't think that's a card, as he is going for the ball there,
yep.
But just an understanding that he has to have as solid control of his body as possible. A lot of space, especially on this right channel for Ozark.
Yeah, giving them a lot. Here's Cowan. Up ahead, Wyatt Marksberry. Marksberry on the right wing. Looking for some support. Marksberry crossing in! Oh, and it goes off of the crossbar from Aukelele, but Ozark will hold on to possession. Marksberry goes down, and they will point to the spot, and that is a penalty drawn by Wyatt Marksberry.
Oh, we've been saying it for the first 14 minutes. He's been the man who has caused the damage so far. And now a golden opportunity for Ozark United to score in the same minute that Turks Caicos scored only 24 hours ago, less than 24 hours ago.
And we'll see who takes this penalty.
We have absolutely zero history to go on. Usually we have in our preparation who the normal penalty takers are, but this is all uncharted waters, of course.
We have number 10, the only player on our roster who did not have a first name attached to him for Ozark United. So Aukelele stands over this one. to his family. If I am mispronouncing his name, my apologies. He steps into this one with the right foot, and he buries it into the bottom right corner. Ozark United worked hard for that one. Wyatt Marksberry draws the penalty, and Aukelele is the one who sets it home. It's Ozark United U19 1, Turks Caicos 0.
Coolly taken penalty, sending the keeper the other way, and just like that, it is 1-0 Ozark.
And our goals here in the Outrigger Challenge Cup, sponsored by our sponsor, Be Hydrogen, the future of hydration. Thank you, Be Hydrogen, for sponsoring the 2025 Outrigger Challenge Cup. They are the future of hydration, and it is 1-0 Ozark United.
And the future of Northwest Arkansas looking pretty solid right now. The U19s of this local club have been bossing the game, winning the penalty, and a coolly taken penalty to give the team wearing black, you have to say, is a deserved lead so far.
And they have really kind of bossed this game so far in the first 16 minutes. And Ozark United once again, we'll see if Turks Caicos and their counter-attacking style can find an equalizer here in this first half.
You'd imagine that old adage that goals change games is going to really have an impact on how Turks Caicos sets up. Already, you're starting to see a move more towards one high striker than 3 or 4 packing the midfield for Turks Caicos, a bit of a higher line to cause some of those turnovers that gave the team wearing gold their best chances of the day so far.
I must say, so far, Wyatt Marksberry looking like the best player on the pitch. Up ahead to the midfield.
Salinas has had so much time in that number 8 role as well.
Yeah, a lot of space around Salinas in midfield. Just kind of sitting by himself on that Springdale Bulldog logo. Not really a gold jersey around him most of the time. But the Ozark United U19, the crew that marched on over here. That Arkansas flag was flying pretty high after that penalty.
They are on the same side of the field where Ozark United is attacking as well. You wonder if they're going to make the long walk across the stands to the other side to continue to be where their side is attacking. But they might be walking into the stadium 18 minutes in thinking, hey, this soccer thing's not terribly hard. First game, 18 minutes, have had the lion's share of the possession, have scored the only goal. It's about as perfect of a mark for the Ozark United U19s as you could have.
If you're a U19 squad facing a FIFA nation, you're pretty thrilled at this point. Now Turks Caicos. That's a great ball up ahead here on this left wing, similarly to where that goal was scored last night. And Turks Caicos, they win a corner kick.
Brandon Lawson with the sliding challenge to knock it away.
Oh, they say, I guess they say it goes off of Turks Caicos. It's a goal kick for the U19s.
I was going to say the way that Lawson had that sliding challenge, that's what that angle is designed to do, is have it ricochet back off of the attacker. And he was able to do exactly that.
1-0 to Ozark United, and that pass a bit too far.
You will see at times those little things not go quite according to plan for this Ozark United team that is still very much learning to play together, but you see the makings, at least, of what looks to really be a squad. Marksberry really looks to be a player, as we've said. Salinas has been excellent. Lawson has been really good so far. And we might see a card.
Yeah, Wyatt Marksberry wins another foul, and Wyatt Marksberry will win another set piece for this Ozark United side.
And still no set pieces really for Turks Caicos, which is where we said they might make the most difference in terms of that physicality. Interesting to see what this kind of angle can draw up. You'd imagine that usually this is one where you could whip it towards the back post, but with the height advantage that most of the Turks Caicos defenders have, you might want to improve the angle centrally. There's a couple of players, including Gomez-Soto, standing near that edge of the 18-yard box.
It is the man donning the captain's armband, Isaiah Fonseca, on this set piece. And with the left foot, Try to go to the far post, and oh, a corner is won by Malachi Cowan, I believe. Oh, they'll say it went out first, so excuse me, as it is a goal kick for Turks and Caicos.
Yeah, I think that's the right call. Certainly looked like the entire ball was over the line before it was sent back towards play. If you're unfamiliar with the dimensions here at Springdale High School, that back of what looks like the end zone in the American football is the goal line, which is 10 yards from the start of that painted end zone.
My old eyes personally had a hard time seeing that back line there, Ben. So I appreciate you being the second pair of eyes for me there.
Yeah, if you were looking and you're unfamiliar with kind of the half football, half soccer setup, the gray outline beyond the usual American football line is our soccer sideline. There you can see Malachi Cowan with his heels on the soccer touchline. That gray outline beyond the football field.
Touch a little too heavy for Wyatt Marksberry. One of his very few touches that hasn't been perfect today. Turks and Caicos looking to use their physicality and their speed, just have not been able to hold on to possession very much here in this first half. 21 minutes gone. That will be out for a goal kick.
And think back to what we were talking about before the game, Carter. It could very well have been decided by whether Ozark United can push the game to the perimeter or if Turks and Caicos can keep everything central. And right now, where is so much of the game being played? It's been on the outskirts of this field. Ozark United's done a very good job of putting the game in their part of the field. And Turks and Caicos has struggled to respond.
And Turks and Caicos, oh, that's a really smooth touch. Can they make anything of it? And another ball just a bit too long. And out for an Ozark throw. 1-0 to the local side. A lot of parents and family in attendance as this crowd slowly trickling in as this opening match of this evening before the Marshall Islands plays their first ever game. That's a really well-won ball from Mateo Gomez-Soto. The ball is up ahead to Wyatt Marksberry. Marksberry's in, and Marksberry tucks it home. And Ozark United so far dominating here in this first half. It's Ozark United 2, Turks and Caicos 0.
What a tidy finish that is from Wyatt Marksberry. He had options to his left, but he says, no need, I'll take it myself. He goes near post, and he perhaps caught the goalkeeper cheating over a couple of steps, expecting the pass. And so he took the space that the opposition gave him, and just like that, Ozark United able to double their lead.
And once again, our goals here in the Outrigger Challenge Cup as we head to the hydration break. Our sponsor is Be Hydrogen. Transformation for your hydration routine. And a hydration break is needed here on this warm Northwest Arkansas day. But Ben, my goodness, the youngsters of Ozark United fully dominating Turks and Caicos thus far. It's 2-0.
Well, I'd imagine that Ricky Hill will be the happier of the two coaches just to make sure that he can kind of reset things a little bit. But we've had some great music on the aux. We haven't heard any of The Who, though, and The Kids Are All Right. But I think that would be a song that would be very apt to describe the first 22 and a half minutes or so, because it has been just about all Ozark United, you have to say. Turks and Caicos, you can very clearly see what they're trying to do. Absorb pressure and then hit Ozark on the counter. But a couple of really nice defensive plays. I think that obviously Marksberry has been the standout, but Brandon Lawson has been absolutely critical on the back line for Ozark United, especially in the first 10 minutes. A couple of really solid opportunities for Turks and Caicos with a through ball that he was able to not necessarily win back cleanly, but just get a touch on the ball to send the Turks and Caicos runner a little bit awry. And ever since, Ozark United has just continued to get more and more confident. And confidence isn't something we talked all that much about in the pregame, but has to be huge for Ozark United. Obviously a daunting task, a U19 squad going up against a FIFA nation. 22 minutes in, they can feel like they belong here. Yeah. They can feel like, hey, we've got a real opportunity to go and do something very special in our first match. And so far, that's exactly what they've done.
And the flag-waving little pocket of supporters down there, they've had a lot to celebrate here early on in Springdale. And it is 2-0 to Ozark United coming out of this hydration break. But you have to wonder, this roster full of Northwest Arkansas kids, probably not quite as much used to seeing the clock count up as they're all here in Arkansas high school soccer. The clock counts down. It's counting up here as we are playing under international rules.
I think that they so far won't mind it. They can ask for the clock to count up just about the rest of the way with the way that things have been going so far. It'll be interesting to see what Turks and Caicos is able to do out of the hydration break. Already a good break here.
Want to see Turks and Caicos find something here. That one takes a carom off of that man again.
Yeah.
Brandon Lawson is all over the defense, and he is playing so well.
That's a difficult play, though, for Gebhart as well, off of that redirection off of your defenders. Very difficult to track. So you're already expecting the pass to be squared towards the back post, and then you have to change footing with it going back towards your near post off of your own defender. But boy, has Lawson been impressive so far.
But Ozark United has had the Lions' share of possession here in the first match of the evening. 26 minutes gone, 2-0. Up ahead to Alan Mendoza. As they look to play off the back, so far they have been very satisfied with both the amount of possession and the two finishes, and that touch another little bit too heavy for Turks and Caicos, and Wyatt Marksberry a step offside there.
Well, just continuing to talk about Lawson out of Bentonville High School, you look back to how they did defensively last year. They played 20 games, 12 clean sheets. That really shows how much Lawson has been able to do on the defensive side of things at his high school level, and it has only just continued to develop now at the U19 level. His team got all the way to the state semifinals at the 6A level.
Turks and Caicos looking for, oh, what a tackle that is, and possession is retained.
That was
up ahead
Puga.
it goes. Puga has also looked very good. This ball up ahead, looking for Marksberry again. Marksberry shakes one marker. He's still on the ball. He still has possession, and then they will call it a clean tackle. It does go back to Turks and Caicos. Marksberry was about to shake the entire defense. Turks and Caicos looking to counterattack up this left channel. This is where their goal came from last night. Now a player down on the far sideline for Turks and Caicos, away from the play. And the referee now does see him, and they will call an injury timeout here.
Well, again, you hope that whenever a player goes down, that cramps is the most likely culprit. As we said, it's a very warm day, a very humid day here in Arkansas. Springdale temperature currently 89 degrees Fahrenheit. And so that is the first thing that you often think of, and hopefully it's something as quickly remedied as that.
And you know that synthetic turf a little bit warmer than 89 degrees
Yeah,
Fahrenheit.
conventional wisdom says that the turf like that adds about 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Just to be able to put it for our non-US based viewers, that means that the air temperature is roughly 32 degrees Celsius, and if you add even 10 degrees, which is kind of the conservative estimate, that would put the degrees at just over 37 Celsius at pitch side, which would be roughly 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So you can see how the conditions could very much affect this, and how it could affect the conditioning of these players as we head later on into the match.
2-0 to Ozark United. I do happen to be in the Ozark group chat. It is just popping off in there right now. They are enjoying this one so far, and Ozark United enjoying it here in the stadium, but wherever you're enjoying this match from, we thank you for tuning in to the 2025 Outrigger Challenge Cup in Springdale, Arkansas. I know Ben and I have had a blast so far.
Oh, yeah.
We have a lot of soccer left to play and left to enjoy.
Everything's kind of been building up to tonight's match. Marshall Islands, the real hosts, if you will,
Right.
of this, the main events, with their first ever match. We are expecting a big crowd, expecting lots of festivities. Atmosphere is going to be absolutely tremendous. I've been in and around with the squad that's been at the Mount Sequoia Center in Fayetteville. I've asked a couple of players how they're feeling, and the only two words I've heard are nervous and excited, and often they've been back to back.
We'll talk about that here in a little bit, but the head coach Lloyd had kind of a tweet thread this morning. I think I was ready to suit up and play after reading it this morning, so it's going to be really exciting to just finally get to see the Marshall Islands play their first international match. But
I don't know if you saw the full spread in L'Keep that the Marshall Islands had.
I did see that. Not many French newspapers ever write stories that involve Springdale, Arkansas, so that was exciting. Here's CJ Salinas. Salinas laying it off to Aukelele, and he goes for goal, but pretty well wide of the target.
Well, Ozark United has looked extremely impressive. If there's one or two things that you can nitpick, and there's not that many for this U19 squad that looks excellent, it's that I believe it seems that some of them don't necessarily have exactly how much time that they think that they have. I think that's another situation in which you can maybe take another touch, cut back towards the middle, and then get a better shot away than with the outside of your boot on the run. That's something that you'll just continue to get a better and better internal clock of as your playing career goes. But that's certainly something that Dean Johnson is probably going to approach his players about, is making sure you know how much time you have and being a little bit more patient perhaps if you can in the attacking third.
And Turks and Caicos have so far really trusted on the long ball to try and give them some opportunities, but so far nothing doing other than that early shot that they're going to regret not being able to put away. Went just wide of the post. And Alan Mendoza. So far, so good for Ozark United. Here's CJ Salinas. Salinas out to Fonseca. This has kind of been the MO for Ozark. They hold possession for a while, and then a long ball up ahead to one of their attacking players.
Well, just look in the center of the park, Carter. There's maybe two players for each team in the middle 20 yards, which is something you don't really see that much at this level of soccer. Whether either team is going to try to change that, I think right now Ozark United more happy with the status quo, obviously, than Turks and Caicos. So we'll see if there's a change of shape, perhaps at halftime for Ricky Hill's bunch, to pack the midfield a little bit more. Right now you can see how wide open it is.
Yeah. I thought that would be taken away by Fonseca, but it will go out for an Ozark throw. If you're Dean Johnson, you got to be thrilled to death with how the youngsters are looking here. Up 2-0 against a FIFA-sanctioned national team. Touch a little bit too heavy for Aukelele.
I think one of the biggest challenges for this U19 squad was trying to build their confidence pregame by trying to convince this bunch that they belonged on the same field. And not only have they looked like they belong in the same field, they look like they've been the better team. And so that's only going to have a compounding ability to continue to grow and grow as these young players continue to feel more and more confident and continue to boss the game against, as you said, a FIFA nation with a really long and proud history.
Oh, what a great touch from Brandon Lawson. But Turks and Caicos pressing a little bit harder. Here's Wyatt Marksberry up against this right sideline, and out it goes.
I think Lawson's going to be a senior next year at Bentonville High School. Wouldn't be surprised if he's playing top-level college soccer pretty soon.
CJ Salinas unable to get to that. Turks and Caicos looking for something to pull out of this first half. They have it on this right wing. Looking for some kind of cross in, but cannot do anything.
We haven't seen Ivan Contreras that much because Turks and Caicos has largely gone in their attacking left, Ozark United defending other side. But so far, Contreras has, on the left side, been able to get stuck into a couple of solid challenges. It's really been Lawson, who's been on Ozark United's defending right side, that has been the busier of the two wingbacks. But that time, a really nice touch from Contreras.
We've just said Lawson's name so much.
Yeah.
Feels like he's the only one back there sometimes. Been really, really well on that right back. as the right back, I should say. Turks Caicos trying to hold possession here, but I will be unable to. Here's Salinas. A collision in the midfield and a well-executed somersault in midfield from a Turks Caicos player to stay on his feet there. But out for a throw. Here's Mendoza. To Lawson at the right back. Up ahead, they try to lay it off to Wyatt Marksberry. Marksberry pressing, but the keeper able to hold on to it.
That was a nice somersault. You're right, Carter. And we're not terribly far from University of Arkansas, where their gymnastics program's led by Jordan Weber, who won gold with the U.S. back in 2012, part of that Fab Five team. So perhaps it has made its way down to Springdale.
Marksberry in the middle. Let's do Mateo Gomez-Soto. Marksberry again.
That's a little bit better from Turks Caicos.
Yeah,
you have to deny Marksberry an opportunity to possess with time and space. That was closed down a little bit quicker.
And he has had less space since the goal. They have cinched up a little bit on him. But back to Lawson it goes. Here's Contreras. OZFC, as they are calling themselves, has slowed this pace down a little bit. More than happy to just control possession. But that's a good interception there from Turks Caicos. Can they get any support in this transition? Seems like so far just not a lot of supporting runs when they have possession of the ball. It just feels like one player alone trying to attack for Turks Caicos.
There just hasn't been enough support. You're absolutely right about it, Carter. And largely that is because Turks Caicos is waiting to hit Ozark United on the counter. But OZFC has shown that they have enough speed as well to return the favor. And so Turks Caicos can't really commit too many numbers forward because they can get hit on the counter. And a third goal here for Ozark United before halftime would just be absolutely backbreaking. Talked about how good that Bentonville High School side is. Not only do they have perhaps the best defender for Ozark United right now, Brandon Lawson, but Marksberry's on that team as well.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the reason why they had 16 wins in 20 matches last year.
Yeah, I believe they ran away with that conference in the state of Arkansas last year. A pretty stacked conference at that. A lot of really good programs spread amongst the 6A West in Arkansas. 38 minutes gone here in Springdale, home to another really good soccer program in the Springdale Bulldogs.
Talk about the dynamic, though, of this U19 team in their high school days as well. They got knocked out by Rogers Heritage High School. There's 4 players from that team on this Ozark United side.
Now Turks Caicos, maybe an opportunity. That touch too heavy, but the offsides flag is up anyway. So the attack comes to nothing for Turks Caicos. And it will stay 2-0 to Ozark. Nice little crowd on hand here for the matinee this evening as we see the Marshall Islands squad rolling up on the other side of the field. They preparing for their debut this evening.
You know, this has to be the worst part now for Marshall Islands, the wait.
The wait.
Everything.
The waiting kills you.
You do everything you can. I know that the Marshall Islands has been in team talks throughout the day, going over final strategy, final tactics with Lloyd Owers, the head coach. And now you just have to get yourself ready to compete. And it'll be just about 2 hours from now.
Ben, I feel like I have been a little nervous for their debut tonight, and I'm not playing. I can't even imagine how the players are feeling. As Ozark United, they'd love to tack on a third here in this first half. Match 2 here this week.
I said nervous and excited were the two words that most described a lot of the players earlier on today. We'll get back to that in a second. Here comes the Turks and Caicos counter.
Yeah, that's a great tackle to win possession of it, but it comes to nothing as Puga is dispossessed as well. Can Turks and Caicos turn something in here? On the edge of the area, a rip, and it just sails over the crossbar, and been maybe one of the better opportunities we have seen from Turks and Caicos.
And part of the reason why that time you could see 4 gold jerseys in and around the area that time, instead of it being 1 or 2 versus 4 or 5 Ozark United defenders, this time Turks and Caicos gets a couple players forward, and it's a little bit better for the team in gold.
Yeah, actual support, and they were able to turn it into a shot.
I'll say that, as I was saying before the counter, the third word that best described a lot of the emotions of the players that we had some time to spend some time with was pride. There's an immense sense of pride for the Marshall Islands bunch, as well as for the Turks and Caicos and U.S. Virgin Islands sides. There is just truly nothing like being able to represent your country, and that has really been one of the pervasive feelings around camp over the last couple of days as they prepare for this match.
And several players who maybe thought they'd never get to represent. Oh, what a touch that is from Wyatt Marksberry, and he will win the foul. And another free kick incoming for Ozark United, and a yellow card to boot for the Turks and Caicos.
It's an interesting angle from pretty deep out. It'll be about 30 yards away from goal, and from an angle where you'd really favor a left foot to be able to swing this in, but it looks like it's going to be the right foot of Salinas.
Mateo Gomez-Soto is also standing over the top of this one as the referee marks off 10 paces. But everything Wyatt Marksberry has touched has turned to gold here this evening. Winning fouls, winning penalties, scoring goals, just all over the pitch. Salinas puts his hand up, crosses this one in, and the keeper Harvey will be run into by the Ozark United player, and there'll be a foul on the U19 squad as back it goes the other direction. It was a dangerous ball, though. Not a bad ball at all from Salinas.
That is where you want to put the ball, right on that penalty area, and it also had that whip away from the goalie, so if he tried to come off of his line, would have made things a little bit more difficult for him. But as soon as he made contact with goalkeepers, that's going to be called a foul every time. It's been a well-refereed game so far.
It really has been. Last night got a little bit chippy, and you have to wonder, two islands in the Caribbean, if there's a little bit of Caribbean pride to go along. 2 teams from CONCACAF. That was well won by Alan Mendoza. Here's Salinas. Plays off to Mendoza. Aukelele on the left wing.
There's that physicality that Turks and Caicos needs to utilize a little bit more.
See if they can hit it on the counter. They got a winger running on the left channel. They will go back with it. Can they pile some support forward here? They go up to the winger. Had one overlapping, but unable to make anything of it.
If you're Ricky Hill's side, obviously you'd love to steal one before halftime, but I think Turks and Caicos right now would prefer just to get back into the locker room and reassess things.
That touch just a bit too heavy. Into midfield to Wyatt Marksberry. And Malachi Cowan. Drops to Marksberry. Marksberry's got support on the right side from Cowan and takes a tumble to the ground. We'll say it was a clean challenge. Turks and Caicos does win the ball back.
The defending has gotten a little bit more aggressive in a very positive way for Turks and Caicos. I think they gave players like Marksberry a little bit too much time and space in the early going, perhaps not quite aware of the technical abilities of some of these Ozark United U19 players. And now that they've certainly proven it in the first 40 minutes or so, they realize that they have to close them down quicker, and they've been doing so. It's been a good adjustment for Ricky Hill, and that's also come largely after that cooling break when he had the opportunity to speak to his players more face-to-face in a huddle.
You have to assume the coaches do appreciate the cooling break in a way, because it is a chance to reset. It is a chance to actually talk to your players, and unlike Habs played under normal circumstances and cooler weather.
Absolutely necessary, though, with the conditions that we've had. As we said, 90 degrees, and it feels even hotter than that at pitch level.
Mendoza in the midfield as we near the 45-minute mark. Assume a little bit of stoppage time here from the head official.
Yeah, remember we have between the 2 goals, including the penalty, which takes some time to set up, and the cooling break.
Cooling break and one quick injury that the physios had to check on the Turks and Caicos player. We'll have a few minutes here.
And again, just to let all the listeners know, we are not appraised of exactly how long of the stoppage time that will be given, so we are all just looking at the referee's watch, but we can assume that we should have about 3 or 4 minutes at the very least.
We're looking at the official's watch just as the players are. I don't realize how much of a luxury it is on real national or international broadcast when you as the viewer do know how much time there is when we're all just guesstimating up here.
I think back to the World Cup in 2022 when it was not uncommon to see 9-10 minutes of stoppage time added on. But the commentators, a couple of them thought that that was a mistake and had to check with their producers. That's a good step up from Turks and Caicos.
Turks and Caicos. Can they steal one away before halftime? That ball so far harmlessly floats through the box. And we're off for a Turks and Caicos throw. Can they pile it forward and find something long here? They do not. Crossed into the box, but right to the keeper, Gebhart, who has no issues whatsoever.
There's more to goalkeeping than just shot stopping, Carter. I think that Gebhart has done a lot of those other pieces of goalkeeping well. He's been assertive off of his line. He's been really communicative with his back line. And that is also stuff that helps out a defense, even if he hasn't had all that many shots on target to actually stop.
Good job by the Turks and Caicos player. Dropped up ahead. They lay it off. Can they find a shot here before halftime? Trying to play it through multiple defenders, unable to do so. It was taken care of by Giovanni Puga, and it will hit halftime. Ozark United was moving very well there for most of that half. They lead it 2-0 over Turks and Caicos here in match 2 of this Outrigger Challenge Cup. Ben, before we take a break, what were your thoughts there?
Yeah, I think it played out pretty similarly to how Turks and Caicos USVI did yesterday, in which the opposition was superior in the first 10 to 15 minutes, and Turks and Caicos grew into the match. Ozark United was able to punish TNC a little bit more than USVI was with their chances early on between the penalty and the really well-taken goal from Wyatt Marksberry. So it's an uphill climb for Turks and Caicos, no doubt about it, but I do think that they were better in the last 10 to 15 minutes of that first half than they were for the majority. And I would imagine that as this match progresses later and later on, the physicality of Turks and Caicos will start to wear down Ozark United a little bit more. And that could be where Ricky Hill's squad has an opportunity to get back into it.
A warm day here in Northwest Arkansas for match 2 of the Outrigger Challenge Cup. Ben and I are going to take a break, as will the players here, and we'll be back on air here in just a few minutes. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Outrigger Challenge Cup.
the Marshall Islands camp have been talking about as the moment where it will feel the most real. It is obviously going to happen. Everyone knows it is set to happen in just about an hour and a half or so. But in talking with some people within the Marshall Islands camp, they said, it feels about as real as it can right now. It has sunk in about as much as it can. But that moment when they walk out and the national anthem plays for the first time before a match 11v11 that the Marshall Islands is going to be able to compete in this kind of community with this kind of backing that they're expected to get tonight, that I think is going to be the kind of peak moment where Marshall Islands has said, look, whatever happens on the field during the 90 minutes is going to happen, and we are going to continue to build and build and build on the field. But I think that is kind of be the moment where everything clicks and the Marshall Islands Soccer Federation will have arrived, truly.
And the team, we know who they are. We've watched the videos. We've learned a lot about them. We've talked to the coaches, but a little bit of an unknown quantity. Their first ever match internationally, and it'll be really exciting to see. We did see the United States Virgin Islands last night. They took the win in penalties over Turks and Caicos. You have to wonder, how much will they rotate that squad from last night, as back-to-back nights? That's a lot of soccer in 2 straight nights.
Well, early indications we've got is that they're going to rotate heavily, really heavily for Ozark, for U.S. Virgin Islands. You simply cannot expect players of the caliber that USVI has to put in 180 minutes over the course of 24 hours, especially in this kind of heat. That is simply not sustainable. It's not responsible for players that have other club responsibilities. And also, if you're trying to grow a national team the way that the Dashing Eagles have been able to do so, it simply is not a good precedent to set. So maybe we'll see a couple of players play at least some of the 90 minutes, but would be really surprised if players like Matthew Roth, who played all 90 minutes, are able to play all 90 minutes again this time. However, you wonder if you might see Matthew Roth at some point over the course of this match upcoming, because it is a very special day for Matthew Roth. He turns 21 today.
Oh, looky there. Well, happy birthday, Matthew.
So we'll see if he is rewarded with any playing time at all, perhaps 10 or 15 minutes for him to get an opportunity on his 21st birthday.
And what a place to celebrate your birthday,
absolutely.
Like Springdale, Arkansas, am I right?
Well, an opportunity to compete in a match that is going to go down in history is certainly going to be quite the present for Matthew Roth. But you'd imagine the Dashing Eagles are going to have a really heavy amount of rotation in their squad. We could see players that we saw a little bit of, but not that much of in their match against Turks and Caicos. A player like Alfred Harris, who played about 25 minutes or so in that first match, comes to mind as somebody who could be really critical. And it will also give an opportunity for some players who haven't had that many caps for the Dashing Eagles to really test themselves and show what the coaching staff of the USVI, what they have, and be an audition of sorts for more future competitive matches.
That one is set to kick off about 8 p.m. tonight, so we hope that if you're enjoying this match, we hope you stick around, and we appreciate you no matter where you may be. And something that is really, I think, just been so impressive to me in the run-up to this, Ben, and especially today even, the support, just outpouring of support from around the world. So many different countries, so many soccer fans from around the world have, so many different soccer clubs even have expressed their support. They followed the Marshall Islands Soccer Federation on social media. They've been unbelievably supportive, and just so great to see kind of the whole soccer and international football community really outpouring support for the Marshall Islands.
And Marshall Islands Twitter has highlighted a lot of players and a lot of teams that have given support. Mentioned L'Equipe, which is one of the biggest sports publications in the world. It's the biggest in France. And they had plenty to talk about. PSG just won a European trophy about 24 hours ago, and still today, who are they talking about? They're talking about the Marshall Islands Soccer Federation and this unbelievable story that is going to play out over the course of this evening. But we have some business to take care of first, because this is going to be a really intriguing second half, especially the first 15 minutes or so of this second half. I think is going to dictate a lot of what this match is going to continue to end up being.
We'll see what adjustments are made for the Turks and Caicos. Here's the players are getting set to start the second half. Saw Wyatt Marksberry having a bit of a chat with his dad, Scott Marksberry, an assistant coach on this Ozark side, and the director of Sporting Arkansas, the parent organization of the Ozark United U19s. But there was an adjustment made after that hydration break for Turks and Caicos, so we'll see if they kind of continue that upswing that happened after the hydration.
Well, we talked about it yesterday, but in case you weren't with us for that wonderful match between Turks and Caicos and USVI, Ricky Hill is probably the most experienced coach in this competition. He has been a manager of clubs, whether it be in USL, Luton Town, a tremendously historic and wonderful club in England, or a club internationally like Turks and Caicos Island. He's been managing for over 30 years now. He has just about seen it all. So he will know what kind of changes he has to make at halftime. It'll be up to the players he puts on the field to be able to oblige.
Turks and Caicos is set at midfield. So we look to get our second half underway here. Match 2 here at historic Jarrell Williams Bulldog Stadium in Springdale, Arkansas. No matter where you are tuning in, though, we so appreciate you tuning in to the Outrigger Challenge Cup, a competition that really has been a long time coming. A lot of preparation from a lot of different people who have poured into this event.
What a hire, by the way, Ricky Hill was for this Turks and Caicos bunch. A man who has coached in League One of the English football pyramid with Luton Town and was only able to do so for a year, but he left Luton Town for reasons beyond his control. That the club was in some financial troubles, and he's coached huge USL clubs like Tampa Bay Rowdies. He was part of the U16, U17 setup for Tottenham Hotspur. Just an absolute home run hire for the Turks and Caicos Federation, and really a sign of the pull that this federation has.
Turks and Caicos mount a little bit of a counterattack here early on, and they will say he is offside. It will amount to nothing, unfortunately, for the Turks and Caicos. Thought they might have had some mounting pressure there, but not able to stay on side.
That is a good sign, though, very early on for Turks and Caicos. I almost said for Luton Town. For Turks and Caicos, that is a little bit more of what it is that they want to do. Get numbers congested into the middle of the park, turn the ball over, and then go on the counter.
This crowd slowly but surely trickling in. Everybody wants to get their seat for the Marshall Islands debut tonight. But to say this is the second time I've been able to see Ozark United play since they began U19 play last year. Their parents and the community really show up for this team. A very good crowd on hand.
Yeah, there are the handful of the supporters who have in fact switched over to the other side.
They did what you said, what you thought they might do.
But just in the stands as well, there's a lot of Ozark United green being represented. Really good to see this community responding to the new club.
That was a great touch in midfield. Bennett Nostvik, the Siloam Springs High School product, has subbed in at halftime here, as well as I believe that's Mason Saffin, number 12.
Yeah, that's Saffel, the Van Buren High School product.
Excuse me. One of the River Valley products on this Ozark United side, mostly Northwest Arkansas, but a couple of Fort Smith and Van Buren faces on the roster as well. A team that really encompasses some of the best Arkansas high school soccer has to offer.
And what an advertisement this is for Arkansas high school soccer as well. Get back to that in a moment.
Yeah, that header a little bit too heavy. Can Wyatt Marksberry turn this in? And he almost was able to chip the keeper from an just impossible angle. It hits on top of the crossbar, but that he even made that even remotely close was impressive.
That is really deft footwork to be able to just have an opportunity to clip that over the head of the Turks and Caicos keeper. As I was saying, this is just such a great advertisement for the quality that Arkansas high school soccer has, to be able to put essentially a Northwest Arkansas high school all-star team on the field and compete at this level with the FIFA nation.
Of course, Turks and Caicos in their second match in under 24 hours, so There'll be a few tired legs there, and Ozark United has mostly dominated. And the winger stepped on the ball on the touchline there.
Really good to see him back up on his feet quickly. Those are scary, scary moments. Thankfully, I think it looked worse than it actually was.
I might have been down for a little while if that had been me.
It's 90 degrees, Carter. I don't think I would have made it past the first 10 or 15 minutes.
That's very true. Booming ball up ahead. Aukelele unable to corral it. Ozark United pressing very high. They make the keeper get rid of the ball in a hurry. Ozark United also led by their own very impressive coach. Dean Johnson is recently announced as the inaugural coach at our local junior college, actually, Northwest Arkansas Community College, but he's coaching the U19 Ozark side. He's an assistant for the Marshall Islands. He's the inaugural head coach at NWAC. He himself is I believe a Tottenham Hotspur Academy alum, so he has made the rounds himself through a lot of different clubs. Won a national championship with Wayland Baptist in the NAIA as an assistant. I believe he was most recently an associate head coach at Loyola Marymount. Good defense by Ozark United again, and they'll look to play it quickly to Wyatt Marksberry. Aukelele is able to stay on side. He might be by himself. Can he turn this one in? Tries to chip the keeper. It goes to him. Can he find this angle? The keeper was able to turn that away, and Samuel Harvey did an excellent job to not be scored on there in a 1v1 with a very dangerous Aukelele.
That is an absolutely fantastic save, not only to get a piece of it, but the rebound control as well, to be able to push it as wide as the keeper was able to. And then the second opportunity allowed Turks and Caicos to get some numbers back defensively. That's a throw and not a corner, as Ozark was hoping for.
I think Ozark believed it was a corner, but just a throw, and then that will go out for a Turks and Caicos throw. So that attack fizzles to nothing for the U19 side. Kudos to this officiating crew. Has done a very good job here this evening. Really controlled the game well. Here in the 52nd minute, Turks and Caicos. A goal would bring them right back into this thing. And they find some support on this possession here. That pass well cut out, and back the other way it goes for Ozark United. Pass intercepted.
That's the right ball.
That's a great ball up ahead to the right wing. Turks and Caicos, they play in a very direct fashion. And generally a more narrow pitch does support that, but it has been a bit difficult for them this evening. Ball in the midfield for Turks and Caicos.
Ozark doing a really good job of playing to the score right now. That midfield is not taking any risks. You're allowing more possession while making sure you keep everything in front of you is the directive right now for Dean Johnson's team.
Turks and Caicos, this is the most threatening they've looked. That's a great ball to the right side of the area. Looking to the back post on a cross, but thought he might have been offside. The flag stayed down, and Gebhart able to corral that one.
In the end, able to push that to the perimeter enough that Gebhart could kind of square his shoulders and guard the near post. But as you said, one of the more threatening, developed moves for Turks and Caicos, not just a one-off break, but possession in the attacking third, leading to a good opportunity. That's an encouraging sign for Ricky Hill's team.
Yeah, one of the best opportunities they've had all game. Gebhart will switch play here. They'll try to run this out the back. Brandon Lawson has been excellent at the right back position for Ozark United. That's a good challenge and a good tackle. They win the ball back. And now Turks Caicos just gives it right back to the U19 side. Now it's Isaiah Fonseca on this left wing. (2-0) the score here in Springdale, Arkansas. But so far, Turks and Caicos, more possession than they really seem to be able to hold on to in the first half. They have it on this left wing. They switch to the right side. On the right wing, looking for support in the box. Crossing in, an overhead kick attempt, and you gotta respect the opportunity and the effort. He does make contact with it, but it caroms to the left of the goal harmlessly for Ozark United.
Such a difficult skill, but a great opportunity for Ozark United that time. Looks like changes are going to be imminent. Or rather, a great opportunity for Turks and Caicos, I should say. Changes are imminent for Ozark United. Looks like that might be it for the day for Giovanni Puga. The substitution rules here at the Outrigger Challenge Cup, you have 7 substitutions, but you can only make those subs over the course of 3 windows. So it won't be uncommon to see substitution opportunities with 3 or 4 changes in one window. Unfortunately, there looks to be a player down for Turks and Caicos along the right side.
Isaiah Fonseca also taking a seat for Ozark United.
So these are defensive changes for Ozark United to try to shore up the back line. We were talking about the physicality perhaps wearing down the Ozark back line. So a good way to combat that is just to get fresh legs in there against this very physical Turks and Caicos side. Looks like Tino Lee is going to be one of the players who enters the game for Ozark. There's a player down for Ozark as well along the far side. Nobody tending to him just yet. Thankfully, the Turks and Caicos player is back up on his feet. It is absolutely grueling, these conditions are right now here in Springdale. Well, we have a moment, by the way, just want to clarify something about tonight. It will be an 8:10 local time kickoff, so not exactly 8 o'clock on the dot. 8:10 local time. This is Central Time, so 9:10 on the East Coast of the U.S. Adjust accordingly to wherever you are. We'll be on the air at 7:55 local time to break everything down and set the scene for you. So 7:55 local time. We'll be on the air. 8:10 with the kickoff. Bad slip.
Turks and Caicos were gifted an opportunity there, but unable to turn it in. We've mentioned that humidity on the synthetic turf makes it just a little bit slippery to play soccer on, and Turks and Caicos almost reaped the reward there. Looking to get Tino Lee involved, and he is fouled hard by the Turks and Caicos player. Welcome to the game, Mr. Lee. Handshake between the players there. A hard tackle, but no malice intended.
That's just 2 players going for the ball, and you know there was no malice in it because you could tell that both players were watching the ball and not each other. And that's just where that collision has. The referee still having a word with a couple of the Turks and Caicos players just to say make sure we're keeping our heads about us. But put a star next to that Turks and Caicos miss if they're able to get one back. That was a golden opportunity to get back into this match and really put some pressure on Ozark United.
They've had a couple opportunities to find the back of the net, but just unable to make do on their chances. But I still like what I'm seeing out of this Turks and Caicos side, who really dominated for most of that first half, but multiple opportunities here in this second.
Yeah, you have to credit Ricky Hill. He's made the proper adjustments to get his team back into this contest, and now it's really just about the players on the field being able to execute that game plan. Good run.
Oh, and it's crossed in, and the keeper Harvey is not troubled by it.
That's Gomez-Soto, though, who made that diagonal run, was nearly in the right place at the right time. There is absolutely no fear in these Ozark United defenders going to ground either. These are challenges that have to be perfectly timed. And so far, they have timed them really well against a really difficult side.
2-0 how this one stands, and as we near the 60-minute mark, Turks Caicos about to have to go all out to try and find a goal.
It's interesting to talk about U19 setups in this country versus other countries where technicality is really the foremost thing that you have to think about, especially in Europe and in South America, while in the US, even at the youth levels, there's such an emphasis put on physicality that perhaps Ozark United able to meet the physicality of Turks and Caicos a bit better than some were expected, just because of how physical the brand of soccer is in this country.
That's well won by Safin. We'll see if he can do something with it on the edge of the area, and contact, but referee says nothing doing, and we play on.
Safin with a nice takeaway, though, in one of his first real actions in this game, but I think that's the right call from the referee. That's looked to be a shoulder-to-shoulder challenge. Having already given away one penalty, though, you know that Turks and Caicos won't have much margin for error there in the box.
Brandon Lawson up ahead to number 9 on Ozark United, a name we do not have on our roster, so see if we can get confirmation on who that one is. But up at Aukelele, and he skies that one over the crossbar, and a goal kick for Turks and Caicos. Turks and Caicos dispossessed again. This time it's Gomez-Soto, who we've talked about him a little bit. He has had a really excellent game so far.
And if he's able to play off of Marksberry, kind of off of his right shoulder as much as he has been, that's a really formidable 1-2 punch. They both provide something a little bit different.
It's a really dangerous ball for Turks and Caicos. They are in, and it will carry him out after Gebhart makes a save. Go off of the Turks and Caicos player for a goal kick, and Gebhart has done a really good job, and that was a great decision from him to come off of his line.
Best save of the game so far for Wesle Gebhart. He had to make himself really big, and he was able to do so. That's a tremendous through ball, and I think Turks and Caicos will feel a bit hard done that they haven't scored there. That's now 2 golden opportunities for TNC in a 2-0 game that could really loom very large.
Brandon Lawson. Pass to the middle to Gomez-Soto. Gomez-Soto in midfield. Oh, that's an excellent ball up ahead. It's Tino Lee, and he cannot beat the keeper. Gomez-Soto, what a ball forward that was. And Ozark may feel like they deserved a third there.
Game's starting to open up a little bit more, which I think suits Turks and Caicos a bit better than Ozark United, just with the way that Turks and Caicos has to chase this game.
Turks and Caicos. They might go for a long throw there. They just have to dump it back towards midfield.
Ozark United supporters in really good voice right now, though. I think especially after that great opportunity has shown they still have something to prove on the offensive side.
See the supporters, and then I believe one of the club founders down there for Ozark United, who looking to bring USL soccer to Northwest Arkansas within the next few years.
Has to just be such a rewarding moment for everyone involved in the creation of this club, and an opportunity for a really famous result right off the bat for OZFC. I think we have a shoelace-related issue at the moment, and a substitution coming up as well for Turks and Caicos. So Ricky Hill now starting to roll the dice a little bit more into his bench. Remember, Ozark United will be a little bit deeper than Turks and Caicos at the moment, given that TNC just played last night, and this is Ozark United's first match of the Outrigger Challenge Cup.
There's Caicos on the edge of the area trying to turn and just fire a shot off the turn, but well wide of the post. Out for a goal kick, and crowd starting to trickle in here at Jarrell Williams Bulldog Stadium.
An absolutely massive stand along this near side. Your picture is looking over towards that far stand, which is going to be far less populated, largely because the glare of the sun is staring right at that. But a little bit more comfortable stand along this near side you won't be able to see, but we can tell you it is really starting to fill up a little bit.
Yeah, and starting to seeing a lot of locals rocking that new tournament limited edition Marshall Islands merch.
I don't know who I need to talk to get my hands on one of those.
Turks and Caicos, is this an opportunity? Edge of the area, that one is tucked away! And the Turks and Caicos pull one back. It's Ozark 2, Turks and Caicos 1.
Off of a turnover, able to get one right back in the 65th minute. A huge opportunity for Turks and Caicos now to really go and steal this result right back.
Do not go away. 65 minutes gone, and they have given themselves an opportunity. As a reminder, all of our goals sponsored by B Hydrogen. That's the future of hydration. Thank you to B Hydrogen, being partners here in the Outrigger Challenge Cup. And it is 2-1 Ozark United. As the squad from the Caribbean has pulled one back.
And now for this relatively young, obviously U19 setup, you have to manage the doubt that starts to creep in when Turks and Caicos have gotten the better of the opportunities in the last 10 and 15 minutes. You know that you're going to have hydration break coming up fairly soon. Making sure that you still stay with your composure that you had in the first 45 going to be critical.
Now Turks and Caicos maybe feeling themselves on the front foot here as we'll see if the winger can keep this one in, and it goes out for a goal kick. See if we can't get a player confirmation on who slotted that goal from down on the sideline. 2-1 Ozark United. Turks and Caicos looking all the more lively here in this second half. And Ben, you have to wonder, they have kept Wyatt Marksberry off the ball here in this second half, and it has seemed to make a lot of it has made a lot of difference, especially just in the amount of possession that Turks and Caicos has been able to muster up here in the second half.
They've just been able to deny the playmakers more here in the second half. It's as simple as that, and that has allowed them more possession and a little bit more confidence.
Almost 67 minutes gone. Turks and Caicos very much in this match. Here they are at the midfield. Maybe have a go from goal from about 35 yards out. Body blocked by an Ozark player. Now that one goes for a throw. Wyatt Marksberry was playing more on that right wing in the first half. They've moved him over to the left. A right-footed shot into the bottom corner.
It's because Dieter Flores has come on into the match, and he's kind of starting to occupy that spot that Marksberry has.
Looks like we will have a hydration break here. And perhaps an opportunity for Ozark to make a few adjustments as the Turks and Caicos first half.
Do want to let our viewers know, among those who bought the entire 5-match package here at the 2025 Outrigger Challenge Cup, if you're having any difficulty with your code that you received, make sure you click the link in your confirmation email to be able to access all the games again. You want to make sure that you don't miss any of the action over the course of these 5 matches. We've got the one more tonight. We've been talking about throughout the course of this competition, Marshall Islands versus the U.S. Virgin Islands. And then on Saturday, 2 more matches as well. We will have the USVI taking on Ozark, and Turks and Caicos will get a shot at the Marshall Islands. A good opportunity for Ozark United now to be the ones to kind of be able to settle things down during this hydration break.
Yeah, it really was a big turnaround there in that first half, as Turks and Caicos went into the hydration break down 2-0, and it honestly, Ozark looked like they were hunting for a third, but they were really able to settle it down during the break. And we'll see if Ozark United does the same after this one.
I think that so far, though, you still have to give the player of the match to Wyatt Marksberry. Set up the penalty for 1 goal, scored another. He's been absolutely sensational. One of the really cool things, kind of the Marshallese flair to this competition, is that the man of the match, which is traditionally given a little trophy, is going to get a traditional Marshallese navigational stick chart known as a rebelib, a very common part of Marshallese culture, and that is going to be the man of the match kind of awards trophy that's going to be given out throughout the Outrigger Challenge Cup. Really wonderful nod to the Marshallese people and to the Marshall Islands. I got a chance to see a couple of them back in Marshallese Camp HQ before heading over to the field today. They are absolutely beautiful.
Crossing into the box there.
Got kind of the lowdown on a couple of the different stick chart formats that are used. Rebelib showing across the several different islands of the Marshall Islands.
Gebhart Center come out of the box to boot this one away. Really good decision made by him.
There's the meadow that covers a few islands or one chain of islands, and the batang, which is a generalized one that is more used for training, but we'll see the Rebelib being given out to the men of the match over the course of this week.
19 minutes remain of regulation. Can the Turks and Caicos Islands find an equalizer here in this second half?
It certainly has been one-way traffic for the most part here in the latter part of this second half. It has been all Turks and Caicos pushing for that equalizer. A reminder of penalties after 90 minutes if we do get ourselves tied. Would be the second penalty shootout in as many matches for Turks and Caicos.
2-1 to Ozark United.
Well, we do have confirmation of who the goal scorer was for Turks and Caicos, and it's a familiar name, Junior Paul again. He has scored both of the goals in the run of play for Turks and Caicos this week. They're scoring in the 15th minute yesterday against the U.S. Virgin Islands, a goal in the 65th minute to get one back for TNC.
Tino Lee to the throw. Through that left back, Brennan Lawson.
It's a 3 for 3 really for Junior Paul. He scored 2 goals in the run of play, and he scored his penalty yesterday.
Booted out of play for Turks and Caicos throw. Can they pile some support forward here? Up ahead, and the player losing his footing, trying to maintain possession. A lot of players hitting the deck here this evening. That was kept in play. He beats Lawson, edge of the area. Now in the box, do they get a shot on goal here? As body blocked well by multiple defenders from Ozark United, and Gebhart harmlessly able to pick this one up.
Yeah, that made things a little bit easier for Gebhart, the way that it pinballed around and wasn't really able to get much purchase on the shot. But again, Turks and Caicos just starting to buzz around that 18-yard box.
Good compact defending there from Ozark United. Perhaps the first time this evening Brandon Lawson has truly been beat by the man he's marking.
Again, there's that high press forcing more and more issues. Turks and Caicos winning it back.
Yeah, Turks looking more lively of the two sides here. And a foul won by Ozark. It'll be a free kick for them.
More and more time that can come off of the clock for Ozark United, the better. They're going to be the ones who want to slow down this match. Turks and Caicos continuing to chase. Quick talking to between the referee and one of the Ozark United players as well.
Ozark will look to go long out of this free kick. Headed away by Turks and Caicos, and they hit quickly on the counterattack here. Tried to go back to the middle of the pitch, but nothing doing. Ditter Flores is touched too heavy. Turks and Caicos, great 1-2 on the left side of the area. He has some support in the box. They cut it back. A shot for Turks and Caicos will find the back of the net. And the Turks and Caicos Islands have found their equalizer. It is 2-2 here in match 2 of the Outrigger Challenge Cup. And a great build-up play on that one, Ben.
Well, it came off of yet another turnover, that high press that has been implemented in the second half, continuing to pay more and more dividends. And then, as you said, a lovely 1-2 along the left side, and patience there from Turks and Caicos to let the play develop, find the open player, and just like that, back on level terms again.
Once again, all of our goals here in the Outrigger Challenge Cup sponsored by B Hydrogen Transformation for your hydration routine. We thank them for sponsoring the goals here in the Outrigger Challenge Cup here in Springdale, Arkansas. 2-2. The local team a little bit shell-shocked after dominating in the first half. Turks and Caicos, what a halftime adjustment they have made. And they are running right at this Ozark United side. It is 2-2. And Ozark has made a few substitutions, but has not helped them out here in this second half.
And we talked about, as this match would go along, the physicality of Turks and Caicos would start to wear down Ozark United, and they have been the team that looks the more still fit here in the second half. And here they go again.
Long ball up ahead. They can retain possession. They might have an opportunity for a third. Curling towards Gebhart, but just a little too dead central on that shot.
I can confirm it was Keneal Clairville who scored that second goal for Turks and Caicos, a player who is of that same age range as this Ozark United side, only 19 years of age himself.
Ozark dominated so much in that first half, but a really two different games that have feel like they've been played here this evening.
Good to see Clairville back amongst the goal-scoring opportunities. Player who started each of the last two matches in the CONCACAF Nations League, including that really, really important win over Anguilla for Turks and Caicos. It's been such an important part of what Ricky Hill has been trying to build over the last couple of years. Still a really young player who gives a lot of hope to this Turks and Caicos side for the future.
And this one caroms away.
And we have officially confirmed, by the way, that even though this match would not be deciding with points, we will still go to penalty kicks if this match does remain tied after the 90 minutes.
Tried to find Tino Lee on the long ball there, but once again, a player slips and falls as Lee unable to stay on his feet. 12 minutes plus stoppage time for someone to find a winner in this thing. It has been Turks and Caicos on the front foot. Look for another quick counterattack there, but that one's cut out by Ozark United. FIFA-sanctioned team from the Caribbean, Turks and Caicos. Would love to say, would probably feel pretty good after winning if they were to come away with this one after how the first half just did not go in their favor. Looking for a cross on the right wing. Really good job by Lawson there to keep that one away from the 18. Looking for Wyatt Marksberry on the left side was Tino Lee, but cut out by Turks and Caicos. Now on the left wing. They go direct again. The Ozark defender falls down. An opportunity for a third, and body blocked by Lawson. Brandon Lawson, who's done an excellent job, but another opportunity for Turks and Caicos. They let one fly from about 20 yards out, but just over the crossbar. A dangerous, dangerous shot, and Turks and Caicos, they have dominated the last 15 minutes. Do we think the Ozark legs are just running out of juice a little bit, Ben?
Well, it certainly seems that way. Turks and Caicos has started to dominate the midfield a little bit more after it seemed like all of the second balls were going the way of Ozark United early on. And they've started to capitalize on their opportunities.
80 minutes gone here at Jarrell Williams Bulldog Stadium. And it has been dominated in the second half by the gold jerseys. Match 2 of this Outrigger Challenge Cup. That's a great ball up ahead. Turks and Caicos, a foot race for this one. On the edge of the area, on the back post! It is 3-2, Turks and Caicos. They have dominated the second half, and they have got ahead here in the 82nd minute.
Again, the patience for Turks and Caicos. They have waited and waited for their opportunities, and then finally the cross comes at just about the very last moment, and Turks and Caicos has come all the way back to turn this match completely on its head.
3 goals in the second half, 5 between these two sides here in this second match. And that is sponsored by B Hydrogen, the future of hydration, here at the Outrigger Challenge Cup. And one Turks and Caicos player on the sideline, a little bit slow to get up.
Well, there were a couple of players who made absolutely lung-bursting runs down the field to be able to provide support as the Turks and Caicos winger got pushed to the perimeter of the field. But that pain of the run worth it just a little bit more after you see the ball go into the back of the net like that. And guess who it was again? It was Junior Paul. That is his third goal in 2 matches. Player who we didn't necessarily expect to play all 90 minutes today, given how much he was involved yesterday, but just a Herculean effort to score 3 goals in 2 matches over the course of less than 24 hours. Just a remarkable feat.
Caicos, 3 second half goals to put themselves ahead. With just under 7 minutes of regulation to go, and out for a Turks and Caicos throw. Based on how this second half has gone, I don't expect them to just park the bus here. I expect them to run right at goal again.
I think back to that U.S. Virgin Islands game, Turks and Caicos closed that one well as well. Anywhere will do in terms of clearing for Turks and Caicos. Last thing you can do is afford to gift Ozark United an opportunity. If you get an opportunity, send it long towards the parking lot and be able to reset. Turks and Caicos also has to make sure that they're being really careful with the challenges that they put in the penalty area. There's been 1 penalty for Ozark and a couple more shouts.
Oh, they were looking for Wyatt Marksberry on a diagonal run there. The pass just a bit too far in front of him. And Marksberry, after looking as though he was the best player on the pitch in the first half, has been neutralized by these defenders here in the second half. Marksberry pressing up ahead, making the goalkeeper get rid of that one in a hurry, but at midfield, it's Turks Caicos again. Another run up on the left wing here. 30 yards out, they will just bring it back.
I'll tell you what, I would have loved to have been in the locker room when Ricky Hill had his conversation at halftime with this Turks and Caicos side. They look a completely different squad here in the second 45.
Here on the left wing. Looking for support, but good defense there by Ozark United. And the U19 squad has just been unable to really string good possession together here in the second. And I wonder if they're missing the presence of Mateo Gomez-Soto in the midfield. He was so good in midfield in the first half.
Well, it's not necessarily the same role as Dieter Flores. He's been dropping much further back than Gomez-Soto was. It's gone from a front three to a front two with another attacking midfielder in the mix. And that's just allowed the Turks and Caicos defense to play everything in front of them a little bit more.
They led it 2-0, 85 minutes gone here. Ozark searching for an equalizer. And Marksberry running on this left wing. Didn't yet find any support into the box. Just one body and 5 gold shirts around him. And that pass taken away once again.
Look
Turks
at all the
Caicos.
space.
A lot of green in front of the Turks and Caicos player to find a way. It will go out for an Ozark throw.
Again, expect a heavy amount of stoppage time in this match. Between 3 Turks and Caicos goals, a couple of substitutions, the hydration break. Here comes another Turks and Caicos sub. Ricky Hill really trying to make sure he keeps his team as fresh as possible given how much soccer his side have had to play over the past day.
Ozark United fans, get a little bit of a song going here.
This Ozark United supporting group should still be extremely proud, even if they fall 3-2 here, of the way that their team has represented themselves at the U19 level in their first match to go up against a FIFA nation and put in a really, really impressive performance.
The youngsters of Ozark able to get on the end of this one. Can they find some space here? Not able to. It's Mitch Stone out there on the right wing. I don't know if we mentioned when he came in.
He's also on that great Bentonville High School squad.
Things are going pretty well for that Bentonville High School soccer team.
Yeah, when you win 16 of 20 regular season games and go to a state semifinal, certainly a lot to be proud of. I see another yellow card here in the 88th minute.
It was they ran into the future state champions, the Heritage War Eagles, who won their first ring in the state of Arkansas. Turks and Caicos once again take this one here in the 88th minute.
Oh, that's a lovely idea, and the turn to be able to go forward.
You support on this right wing. I just slow this down a little bit. Back to the left. Turks and Caicos satisfied to slow this one down.
Any possession in this attacking third is good possession for Turks and Caicos right now. Keep the ball as far away from your defending goal as possible.
They might have an opportunity here on the edge of the area. And a really well-won tackle there.
It's a difficult balance with this much time left, about probably 6 minutes after stoppage time. Do you go to the corner and just try to pack it in? Do you still look for a 4th goal?
Up ahead. And it may be an opportunity for Ozark United here. And a legitimate shout for a penalty. Will they give it to him? Yes, they will. The referee points to the spot. And Aukelele wins a penalty. And as we near the 90th minute, Ozark United will have an opportunity to equalize.
Well, the speed of Ozark United is something that we knew was a possibility coming into this match. And an absolute burst of speed down that right flank. Don't know if Turks and Caicos knew that they had more defenders in support. And a challenge put in that will result in a chance for the second penalty of the game.
And an opportunity for an equalizer. Will have every other youth Ozark United player on the railing making some noise to try and distract the keeper, Harvey. It's the same player who took the first penalty, and Aukelele, he also won it. In a minute 90, Ozark United will look to equalize. And we'll have a little bit of a conversation with the head official here.
Remember, Aukelele was able to send Harvey the wrong way in his first penalty. That's all the data you have on him in terms of playing for Ozark United.
And we don't even have a first name. All we have is a last name. As we enter stoppage time. The penalty to equalize, and he tucks it into the bottom right corner. Ozark United 3, Turks and Caicos 3, a 6-goal thriller here in match 2 of the Outrigger Challenge Cup, Ben.
That's just a really coolly taken penalty. A little bit of that stutter step that we're seeing becoming very popular. And even though the keeper for Turks and Caicos went the right way, it didn't matter because of the amount of power that Aukelele was able to generate. And we are tied yet again.
For the 6th time this evening, our sponsor for all goals is B Hydrogen. It's the future of hydration. And it is 3-3 as Ozark United equalizes here in stoppage time. And what a match here for match 2 of the Outrigger Challenge Cup. 2 penalties, one by Ozark United here this evening, and both of them have been converted.
Well, just completely against the run of play towards the end of this match.
And is there a 7th goal? As Turks and Caicos bring it down, and there's going to be a foul given here, and this will be a free kick from a very dangerous area for Turks and Caicos.
Maybe at maximum 5 yards outside of the box, relatively central. Wesle Gebhart is going to have to line up his wall very, very well here. There are some players for Turks and Caicos who can strike it cleanly and respond immediately.
A 3-3 thriller here in match 2.
Well, it certainly looks as though Turks and Caicos is looking to bend one towards the back post rather than take the shot on.
You know, not a lot of height in this wall for Ozark United. The referee will mark off his 10 paces, and it's a 4-man wall for Ozark.
All but one are behind the ball for Ozark United right now.
About 24 yards out, it appears. Be a left-footed free kick. Goes right at goal, but well over the crossbar for Turks and Caicos. And Ozark United breathes a collective exhale.
That might be the last best chance for either side over the course of the 90 minutes.
Header won at midfield for Turks and Caicos. And not a great header there, and it'll be another throw-in for...
Yeah, that was Contreras who was just trying to get it out of the immediate harm. And like we were talking about earlier, now it's Ozark United who can kind of organize things defensively. It looks like a long throw might be coming up here.
And as we mentioned this last night, there's a lot more space on that far sideline than on the near one. So this is the side where you can get a good run up on a throw-in. Long throw in into the box. A header is cleared off the line. It looked like it could have been a handball, but none of the Turks and Caicos players were really calling for it. The referee says that was a clean block by the Ozark defender.
Well, that's what that long throw can do, especially when it takes that first bounce in the box. Makes things very difficult for defenders.
And Ozark United finds something here. Didier Flores up to Wyatt Marksberry. Marksberry in a foot race. He has played the full 90. A crunching tackle by the Turks and Caicos player who comes up a little bit hobbled after a really hard challenge there on the touchline. Tino Lee brings it back. Here's Ivan Contreras. Midfield, and the referee will blow his whistle, and this ends 3-3. And Ben, we're going to PKs for the second time in 2 matches here in the Outrigger Challenge Cup.
Well, this is about all you could ask for from a second half. 2-0 at halftime, and then 4 second half goals, 3 from Turks and Caicos to have the lead, and then Ozark United responds with the very, very late penalty. And so off to penalty kicks we go again. What a match.
Oh, my goodness.
If this was the undercard, what an undercard it was.
Yeah.
And that's not any disrespect to Turks and Caicos or Ozark United in that turn of phrase. Simply the buildup that has been worldwide for the Marshall Islands Soccer Federation, who might have to wait even a couple more minutes because of the amount of time that this match will take, a little bit longer than we would have anticipated, of course, going into penalties.
And we are due for an 8:10 kickoff here in the second match this evening. Just what a thrilling couple of days of soccer. 2 matches and 2 just absolute delightful games that we have enjoyed here at Jarrell Williams Bulldog Stadium. And a Turks and Caicos player really having to be helped off the field by his teammates. You hope that's just a cramp and nothing serious.
And that's the last thing that anybody wants, especially as we head towards penalties, is a player who needs medical attention. And of course, we won't have the coin flip or get started with the penalty shootout until we make sure that this player is okay. That is the number 1 issue for sure. Unfortunately, this player looks to continue to be down.
And the physios I have to check the Turks and Caicos players, they've played 180 minutes of soccer in 24 hours here. So, understandably so. Just a little bit worn out.
Especially when you factor in the warmth as well. You think back to this penalty shootout, Turks and Caicos took 4 penalties yesterday. They made 3 of them. The lone penalty miss coming from Christopher Louisy. Ledson Jerome scored, Junior Paul scored, Mackenson Cadet scored. So 3 of the 4, but USVI were able to score all 5 of their penalties. Different goalkeeper than yesterday for Turks and Caicos today, of course. So we'll see what this penalty shootout has in store. What will be an extended wait for each of these 2 teams to get started with the penalties because of that player that remains down. That will only continue to build up the nerves heading into this penalty shootout. Again, remember what is at stake here, specifically for Turks and Caicos, is that, again, head-to-head tiebreaker against other nations will come down to their fixtures against Ozark United. So another penalty shootout in which points aren't up for grabs, but a tiebreak is, the second one in as many days for Turks and Caicos. But right now, all we're thinking about is making sure that that player that is on the ground continues to get the medical attention necessary, and that he is all right. He looks to be slapping the ground in a considerable amount of pain. And it looks like we will now get going with that penalty shootout. And it's going to happen on the right side. Yesterday, unfortunately, we were unable to get our auto follow camera to follow the penalty shootout. We will describe it to you as if it was a radio broadcast again today. Unfortunately, our automated camera fixates on the amount of players who are standing there watching at midfield. But we will describe to you all of the action here in this penalty shootout. And it looks like it will be Turks and Caicos who will go first.
Of course, Turks and Caicos going to play in their training kits, so not exactly sure who all of the players are who will be taking the penalty, but we will describe it to you as best as we can, and no matter where you may be watching, we thank you for tuning in here to the Outrigger Challenge Cup. The first Turks and Caicos player squares up against Gebhart. He goes to the bottom left. It caroms off the left post. It buries into the right. The penalty is good. He went as far to the left as possible, hit the inside of the left post, and beats Gebhart. The first penalty good for Turks and Caicos. And the first penalty taker for Ozark United will be the back who we were very impressed with, Brandon Lawson.
Remember, USVI went first and won the penalty shootout yesterday. That is the thought, is that going first gives you the slight advantage.
And the Bentonville Tiger, Brandon Lawson, steps up for his penalty. Short run up, and he smashes it into the right side of the net. And it is good for Ozark United, 1-1 in penalties here in match 2.
Couple of calmly, coolly taken penalties with plenty of power behind them. That's always the debate, is the power versus the placement. And both the Turks and Caicos and Ozark United first penalty takers opting for the power with plenty of success.
What a match this one has been. 3-3 after 90. And a penalty shootout to decide it. The second Turks and Caicos player with the left foot. A short run up, buried into the back of the net on the right side. There was no second guessing about where he was putting that one. And it's Turks and Caicos 2, Ozark United due up for their second.
Well, when you're able to maneuver your body control like that to send your opponent the wrong way in net, all you have to do is just hit the target. That was pretty calm and cool once again for Turks and Caicos.
And I've appreciated a little bit of sportsmanship between these two sides. I think each penalty taker has given a little dap to the next one up. Second penalty taker is Ditter Flores for Ozark United. Steps up with the right foot, and he slipped and chipped it to the right of the net, and he misses the second penalty for Ozark United. So after that, that is unfortunate for the U19 side. It's 2-1 Turks and Caicos.
That is incredibly unfortunate. We've been talking about the turf and how that has played a factor throughout the broadcast, and it was his plant foot that just slipped out from underneath him, and he just couldn't get much of any purchase on it.
We have mentioned the humidity makes this synthetic turf just a little bit slippery here in the very hot and humid summer months of Northwest Arkansas. The third Turks and Caicos player with the right foot steps up and coolly buries it into the bottom left corner. It is 3-1 Turks and Caicos.
Well, now if you're Ozark United, if you don't score here, then any Turks and Caicos score or any future miss ends it. So this is really the critical point right now for Ozark to stay in this shootout.
And every penalty is utterly critical.
But this is the guy who you would want stepping up in this kind of situation.
It is Gomez-Soto, number 18 for Ozark United. He steps up with the right foot. Longer run up from him. He'll be left-footed here. And he smashes it. Samuel Harvey got a hand on it, but it still finds its way into the back of the net. Turks and Caicos 3, Ozarks United 2.
Whenever you're able to go the right way as a keeper in a penalty shootout situation, you really feel hard done when you can't keep it out of the back of your own net. And that time Harvey went the right way, but Gomez-Soto just hit it with so much pace that it didn't matter. And now if you're Wesle Gebhart, you're thinking, I just need one here. One stop to get your team back into it.
Fourth penalty for Turks and Caicos. Right-footed penalty. And smashed again, once again, 4 for 4 for Turks and Caicos into the back of the net. It hit the back right corner. Gebhart guessed the right way, but nothing doing. It was just hit with so much pace.
There is absolutely no stopping that one. Into the top corner as well, not a savable height. That's a perfect penalty at any level. And now a save here for Turks and Caicos, or an Ozark miss of any kind, would give the win to TNC.
Next penalty taker is Ivan Contreras for Ozark United. In his run-up, will be taken with the right foot. Smashes it bottom left. Good for Ozark United. They keep themselves alive as Turks and Caicos will step up to win it.
Well, USVI went a perfect 5 for 5 in the penalties yesterday against Turks and Caicos. Well, Ricky Hill's squad with an opportunity to flip the script here only one day later as USVI and the Marshall Islands watch on. If you're Wesle Gebhart, you pick a side and you dive to full extension.
You fully commit to it as hard as you can. Wesle Gebhart needs a save or a miss to keep this penalty shootout alive. The Turks and Caicos player steps up with the left foot, and he hits it into the back of the net, and Turks and Caicos, they go 5 for 5, and maybe not how they drew this game up, but the Turks and Caicos national team dispatches the upstart Ozark United U19 side in a penalty shootout after a 3-3 6-goal thriller here in the Outrigger Challenge Cup.
I think there's a